Hey everyone, and welcome back to Boring History for Sleep, the channel where we dive deep into the past to uncover fascinating stories that are sometimes a little unsettling, but always historically enriching. Tonight, we re-peeling back the layers on a period that might just make you grateful for modern justice. Colonial America. Now, when we talk about justice back then, it wasn't just about determining guilt. It was often about public humiliation, physical pain, and sending a very clear, very harsh message. So, settle in, get cozy, and let's journey back to a time when a simple misstep could lead to truly brutal consequences. Imagine, if you can, a scene straight out of a history book, but far more visceral. You're walking through a bustling colonial town square. The air is thick with the smell of wood smoke and a faint hint of something less pleasant. Suddenly, your eyes land on a spectacle that would send shivers down your spine. A man is tied to a post, his back bared, and with each swing, a whip cracks, leaving angry welts on his skin. This wasn't some isolated incident. This was a public whipping, a common form of punishment for offenses ranging from theft to insubordination. And if that wasn't enough, perhaps nearby, someone else is locked in a wooden contraption, their hands and heads sticking out, unable to move, while passersby openly mocked them, or worse, pelt them with rotten vegetables. This, my friends, was the pillory or the stocks. For crimes deemed lesser, yet still requiring public shaming, drunkenness, minor assaults, or even gossiping. These wooden restraints served as both a punishment and a stark warning. But it didn't stop there. Colonial justice was inventive in its cruelty. Have you ever heard of branding? Not the modern kind, but with a searing hot iron? If you were, say, a repeat offender for theft, you might find yourself branded with a T for thief, permanently marking you, making it impossible to escape your past. This wasn't just about pain. It was about ensuring that shame followed you everywhere, a constant reminder of your transgression. And let's not forget the dunking stool, often reserved for scolding women, a rather misogynistic punishment where a woman accused of being too loud or argumentative would be strapped to a chair and repeatedly plunged into a pond or river. It was a terrifying ordeal, sometimes leading to accidental drownings, all for the crime of having a strong opinion. Now you might be thinking, what kinds of crimes warranted such severity? Well, colonial society was deeply intertwined with religious beliefs and a strict social hierarchy. Blasphemy, disrespecting authority, or even simply not attending church could be seen as grave offenses. Theft, no matter how small, was a huge deal in communities where survival was often precarious. Stealing a loaf of bread could easily land you in the stocks or even facing a whipping. And while these punishments often seem excessive by today's standards, they were born out of a desire for social order and control in developing communities with limited resources for incarceration. Jails were primarily for holding people awaiting trial, not for long-term punishment as we understand it today. Let's delve a bit deeper into the philosophy behind these methods. Public shaming was paramount. The idea was to deter not just the individual, but the entire community. When you saw someone in the stocks or being whipped, it was a dramatic, visceral lesson in what not asterisk, to do. It reinforced the moral codes and legal boundaries of the society. The pain inflicted wasn't just about retribution. It was believed to cleanse the sinner, to purify them through suffering. In line with the harsh religious doctrines prevalent at the time, and for those deemed incorrigible, those who simply wouldn't conform, the punishments escalated. Beyond branding, mutilation was sometimes employed, though less frequently. An ear might be cropped, or a nose slit, making the mark of a criminal even more visible and permanent. This was the absolute last resort before the ultimate punishment. Of course, the ultimate punishment was death. While not as common as the lesser forms of brutality, capital crimes were taken extremely seriously. Murder, treason, witchcraft, and even repeated instances of grand larceny could lead to the gallows. Hanging was the primary method of execution, often carried out publicly to serve as the most extreme deterrent. Imagine the solemnity and fear that would grip a town as such an event unfolded. It was a stark reminder of the fragile line between order and chaos, and the immense power wielded by the colonial authorities. The legal codes varied somewhat from colony to colony, but the underlying principles of maintaining a rigid social and moral structure through fear and public display remained consistent. It's truly a testament to how far our understanding of justice and human rights has evolved. The idea of rehabilitation, of understanding the root causes of crime, was largely absent. Instead, the focus was almost entirely on punishment, deterrence, and upholding societal norms, no matter how harsh. So as you drift off tonight, perhaps take a moment to appreciate the intricacies of modern legal systems for all their imperfections. And be grateful that for most offenses today, a public whipping for stealing a loaf of bread is thankfully well history. Thank you for joining me tonight on this journey into the harsher realities of colonial America. If you found this historical deep dive interesting, even if it's designed to help you unwind, please consider giving this video a thumbs up and subscribing to Boring History for Sleep for more fascinating, sleep-inducing explorations of the past. Your support helps this channel grow, and I truly appreciate every one of you. Sweet dreams, and I'll see you in the next historical adventure.